Shawty's like a melody in my head.
Can I go home now?
I don't want to go, but don't sing that song.
Na 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 every day.
It's like my iPhone stuck on replay. Zach, it's iPod.
Thank you did it instead, so I didn't have to. Did anyone else think that was Sean Kingston when it first came out? Or is that a solo problem of mine?
Wait, is that Yaz or Jason Derulo?
Yaz.
Yaz.
Just a one-hit wonder.
I think he had 2 hits, but same thing.
What's the other then? GG?
Soldier Boy.
That's enough. All right, gents. We just rewired the whole ass podcast studio because they put carpet in here and someone that's not licensed to unplug cables unplugged cables.
Some entrepreneur that's like, I'm going to start a business, created this place and has no idea how to plug something into the right hole.
It's a contractor issue, I believe. I hope. I wish. How are you guys doing today? This eve?
Tired.
You came straight from work?
Yep.
We like
Tax
your
season.
I won't name your company, but I like your representative colors.
Oh, yes. I love working for Red Baron Pizza Incorporated.
Okay. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Shitty Movie Review Podcast, hosted by your favorite cat dads. I'm Matt.
Dennis.
Zach.
And this is The Letterboxd.
Swig, hold on.
We're leaving in the sweat.
Please.
Reference.
That was vodka, by the way.
That's appropriate. And Dennis is about to tell us why. After we do Weekly Media Rundown.
Oh, sorry.
You want to host Weekly Media Rundown this week, Dennis?
Yeah, let me hear what you guys have watched because, okay, Zach and I live together, of course. Everybody knows this. Lots of people are talking about it. And I heard so many different shows and movies coming from your neck of the woods in the apartment this week, and I didn't think Danish was any of them. So what have you been watching, dude?
So many Letterboxd logs this week for you.
Yeah, so after we did Casino Royale on our last episode, I got in the Bond mood, and I was like thinking to myself, like, if I'm this big Bond talker and act like I know it all, I need to go watch every single fucking one that I ever made. Because I haven't seen a lot of the old ones since I was really, really young. So I'm literally going in order watching them all. So I've already watched the first 3 over the past 3 nights.
Whoa. Wait, how many are there?
The first one's in 1963. There's 20, officially 25, and there's 2 of them that are kind of weird and a lot of the story behind it, but they technically are Bond movies. But I'm only going to watch 25.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
manageable.
Are you going to do these daily for February? Can we commit to an end
if
of
I have
February?
time.
Finish.
Like, I wasn't expecting to watch the first 3 in the past 3 nights, so it's something like I'm just going to do alone, like not with my girlfriend, just whenever I have time. But
nice.
Yeah, so far it's exactly what you would expect for a 1960s film. The first 2, and then Goldfinger, which we joked about last week. That's the only one I actually remember watching as a kid. Was actually pretty like it's the first Bond movie that like that has the same formula as the rest, basically. And you can like, I don't know, it's kind of cool watching these because like I didn't realize that Daniel Craig like specifically took so much from Sean Connery. So now like me watching Sean Connery for the first time in the 60s, I'm like, that is so Daniel Craig. It's like really funny, but it's cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to finish and keep going.
Nice. Very nice. I guess I should go.
Yeah, you should go.
I didn't watch jack shit. I've been watching The Bear. I'm like halfway through season 2. Dude, it's just like as of right now, I wouldn't say it's like amazing.
Is it boring?
It's not boring. It's just like it's a really solid like 30-minute episode series, which I feel like we don't get that much. Like high production value, like cinematography is great, acting's stellar. I like the concept and it's fun. It's kind of just gearing up into what it could be. But I think it'll probably run for like 5 seasons. But this is the season that everyone like is obsessed with. So
season 1,
season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So once this finishes, I'll come back with a full report. But I enjoy it. It's a nice little lunch. I'll watch it during my lunch.
Ooh, I have one more.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, I don't remember. I might have said this last week. Did I tell you I watched Ted, the TV show?
No.
You said you were going to watch it, I think.
Dude, yeah, because I was like freaking out when I saw it because I love the movies. Like I just love Seth MacFarlane humor. I think he's awesome. Like Family Guy is probably my favorite sitcom, cartoonish thing. whatever. And so I love the Ted movies are like basically the same humor. So I like those when I was younger. I probably wouldn't like them now. Well, at least I thought that. And then I saw they made a prequel TV show on Peacock, and I saw an advertisement and was like, there's no way that's real. And then I looked at reviews, and the reviews were like really good. And I'm like, okay. And then I went into it just randomly, put on the first episode as I was falling asleep. And I was scared that, because it's like 2024, like you can't be as funny as you used to, like because everything's cancel culture nowadays. But they're literally the same humor. It's like they don't care. It's so Seth MacFarlane. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean the sitcoms like Family Guy and whatnot don't really
they don't fall into that
PC. So
luckily, so I highly recommend it. It's actually hilarious, crazy. And they're like hour-long episodes. It's only like 7 of them, but it's like actually kind of like heartfelt. Like they put a lot of work into it, and I heard Seth is already thinking about making a second season, so highly recommend it. It's like actually funny and kind of cute, and makes you a little fuzzy inside.
Nice. Yes. Is that really play good on how Ted is a huggy, fuzzy bear?
Exactly.
Build a Bear Workshop. This episode's not sponsored by Build a Bear Workshop. I've also been reading Dune, and I'm like 66% of the way through, probably, if not more. It's good. I'm finally getting to the point where it's like the new stuff that hasn't happened in the first movie, because that's my only preconceived exposure.
Dune's first stuff.
Dune's first stuff to me. First new stuff.
Dennis, haven't you read Dune?
I gave it a shot, and it was an insurmountable task.
I can see that.
Yeah.
There's a glossary that's like 10 pages long in the back.
Ouch.
But yeah, it's good. Looking forward to the new movie as well.
Dennis, what about you?
Minimal amounts of watching happening from me. I watched a few episodes of The Curse, Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone's show, produced by Nathan Fielder himself and Benny Safdie. It started out pretty good with a very big mystery, and not a lot of mystery has been solved so far across 5 episodes, but it's definitely keeping my attention. I don't know if something's going to explode or something, but there's definitely like a lot of just funny things that happen throughout it. Yeah, it's like the humor comes out of nowhere and is in a place where it doesn't have really any right to be, and it just catches you off guard, and it's a little disarming just why a funny thing is happening right now. And they don't make a joke out of it. It's not like, oh, this is a joke where you're supposed to laugh. It's just like a thing that happens where you can't help but be laughing at it.
It's like, does it continue like the more uncomfortable Fielder humor?
Yes. It's still very much in his wheelhouse. Also, dude, I can't believe Benny Safdie's in fucking Oppenheimer, because he plays such a different character in this show. But it's a real treat. So I'm really liking him. I'm becoming a big fan of Benny Safdie just because of his character in The Curse.
Yeah. I need to catch up on those. Also, I'm surprised that you haven't watched any of this, Zach, because Christopher Nolan,
The Curse,
has like a boner for this.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's on show. That's because it's on Showtime, and you have to. The only way you can access it if you buy a Paramount Plus membership with Showtime. You can't directly subscribe to Showtime. It's just the clusterfuck of every fucking company having their own app these days. But Christopher Nolan moderated like a session with Benny Safdie and Nathan Fielder. I think they like watched the finale, and then there was like a discussion afterwards, and Christopher Nolan moderated it, which is like Christopher Nolan moderating something.
Do we have footage of that? Do we have access to that? Can it be viewed?
Yeah, I think there's YouTube shit out about it.
Am I supposed to know Nathan Fielder?
He does Nathan For You. He's very. I had never heard of him until Dennis showed him to me.
So I guess
he's just a deadpan humor guy that like made his career off of
director or actor.
Actor.
Oh,
also direct. He like makes his own show. He's a comic, but does deadpan humor and just like really aims to make everybody really uncomfortable.
No, but for The Curse, he created the show?
Yeah, and he's acting.
Oh,
and Emma Stone's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Emma Stone.
Surprised I haven't.
Or the three of them.
I'm sure if I saw a poster or something, I'd be like, I've seen a trailer or something.
It's A24. If that does anything for you. I don't know if it does.
That did a lot for me, actually.
Yeah, I need to put some time into that one. That one's been sitting on my list for too long.
Well, time is the name of the game. And now it's time.
Yes.
For the discussion about the movie we watched this week. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Well, we watched Danish film called Another Round, entitled Duk in Danish, the native language.
You're so good.
Good job.
Thank you. It's all the same, man. Anywho, released in 2020, the year of our Lord, accompanied with bangers such as the COVID-19 pandemic.
Is that real or fake?
And Tiger King.
Asking for a friend.
The COVID pandemic, or that it happened in 2020?
COVID pandemic.
Tiger King was a really big deal and took the world by storm. So that's the time frame we're sitting in. It stars Mads Mikkelsen, also known as Le Chiffre, Thomas Bo Larsen, Magnus Millang, and one other guy, but he wasn't big enough to make the headline on IMDb. So
sorry, buddy.
Damn.
It's okay. Yep. So, movie about drinking. It is a coming to life films or a coming of age story kind of that is about four guys who are somewhat lacking in all aspects of their life or some big key aspects of their life, and they decide they'll remedy this by maintaining a constant level of intoxication.
Yeah, I guess what's the theory? There's like some guy's theory that they're testing that humans have a BAC of 0.05 too low.
Yeah, the theory by the probably Danish philosopher is that the human is born with a blood alcohol content deficit of 0.05, meaning that we're in the hole until we get a little tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not operating at full capacity unless you get a little bit of booze in you.
Just a little.
Booze.
Just a little teensy.
And so they embark on this very intellectual, scholastic, and empirical journey together as they document how their lives change, how their social interactions change, and whether or not 0.05 is actually peak performance or not. It also won Best Feature Film in the 2021 Oscars. Foreign.
International? Okay.
Yeah.
It won or was nominated?
It won.
Oh, shit.
Placed first prize.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about this movie, but when it came on in Danish, I was like, whoa. Maybe because the only foreign films I've seen are Asian. So it was just like, I don't know, dude.
White
just
people
like
can be foreign too.
It's like,
German.
obviously, well, yeah, that's true. But I watched that with dubs. I watched
I forgot that you could do that.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just at American culture shock over here watching a fucking foreign movie that was not Asian. And I guess I'll start with this. I feel like I was kind of hyping myself up, or I'm trying to hype myself up for it, because it's like, obviously Dennis said it won Best International Film in 2020. It's got a lot of praise. I think it was like the top selection at Cannes or whatever the year that it came out. I enjoyed it a lot. Maybe I could be talked. I need some fluffing from you all during the course of this episode. I think Mads Mikkelsen was great. That was the first time I've ever seen him in a role that was like, I guess I don't know what else I've seen him in. Do we know anything else that Mads Mikkelsen has been in?
Yeah, he was in bangers such as Casino Royale from 2006. I believe he played the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie. Is that right? Yeah, he played. I didn't even recognize him from that.
I didn't know that.
He looks like the drummer from the Scorpions in that movie with all this black eyeliner and shit not. But he's done...
I only know him from two things.
Yeah, he's done a good amount of television work overseas, I believe. But I don't think he's had any real headlining roles aside from Casino Royale.
Okay. Well, anyways, for me, it was my personal experience, or first personal experience with him in a more serious role. The internet connection here is sucking my insert explicative here. So I can't pull up any more information about Mr. Mads. But okay. I thought he did a great job. I really liked... I liked all the main four actors in this. I like how intimate the film felt. I felt like it was, maybe it was like some of the camera work as well, but it just felt like I was a part of the gang kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like, I don't know, just a cinematography choice there, I guess. And I like the kind of up and down nature of the film. So it obviously deals with drinking and the effects of alcohol and alcoholism, but it does so in a way that maybe you wouldn't expect, in that you see the good times, and like for a while I was like, oh man, they're really pitching me alcohol here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is probably not something
pro beer
yeah,
film.
Literally, that's what I was getting. And then it takes a turn and you see the downsides as well. So I don't know, I thought it was really well done, but maybe left a little bit to be desired, but at the same time, it wasn't a grand principle or concept there. So for what it was, I think it was solid. I'll probably start off at around a 7 or so.
Okay. Yeah, I want to go ahead and thank Dennis ahead of time because I kind of shat on this movie, not shat on it, but last time because he gave us a vote on the last episode between this and then like a
certified banger,
basically. And I was like so against this one because you called it a foreign film, and
so against foreign.
How dare me?
I don't know. How dare you?
How dare you reference this film as foreign?
And holy shit, this movie is absolutely amazing. I like am in love with this movie. It's an instant classic. Totally understand why it won Best Picture, international film. I think it could have won Best Picture overall.
Whoa. Tenet came out this year, buddy.
Tiger King came out this year.
Second behind Tenet, sorry. Yeah, I adore this movie. As Matt said, Mads Mikkelsen is outstanding. I think all four guys are outstanding. It's such a... I mean, Matt already kind of put it well with, like, it's an intimate story where, yeah, you feel part of the gang, but I think the biggest thing for me is, and Matt and I are the same in this, where it's like, if a movie hits you emotionally, it automatically gets raised, and like, this hit almost like every emotional thing for me, like possible. Like, I cried multiple times during this movie. I also have had lots of struggles in my life with alcohol in my past, and seeing like the message that this movie made, there's a big theme that like we'll get into when we get into spoilers. I've never seen done before in film or TV, and it was just a really interesting and unique way of, I don't know, showing how alcohol is good and bad, and like showing it at the same time. I don't know. It's kind of, I thought it was cool the way they did it. But yeah, it like really hit home with me and resonated with me. And on top of that, I thought it was pretty funny. And I don't know, something about four middle-aged guys going through a midlife crisis strikes a beat with me. I don't know. I just really, really, really enjoyed this movie. And can't wait to talk more about it. I'll start it off with a 9.
Oh, wow. Boy.
That review paid way more dividends to me than I think watching this movie ever could, just hearing how much you appreciated that.
Thank you,
so
Dennis.
Good. You're welcome, man. I was waiting for you to be like, I'm going to thank you in advance for this because I hated it and I just wanted to say something nice before I chat on it or whatever. No, very good. Oh, so sweet. Now I'm going to ruin the mood. Yeah, I'm going to ruin the mood.
Oh, no.
Not really. It was good. It was really, really well done. Like Matt said, it was really, really well made. But I think that's probably the most I can say about it. It was a fun time, but the subject matter wasn't really the fish hook that I was looking to bite onto, I guess. It's not The Hangover. It's boyhood core. Does that make sense?
Elaborate, please. It doesn't to me.
So it's kind of like a familial story, a story about a family where a character is facing crisis and he deals with the crisis. There's some high points and they look really, really high. There's some low points that, they really show you how low it is.
A family drama.
Family drama, yeah. It's well acted, I think. But there's just not a ton going on in the story.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
If you're looking for a ton going on in the story, I can see how you feel wronged.
So it's not a blockbuster, and it's not a, I guess, comedy masterpiece or anything, but it has really good acting. It has really good music, really good dancing, to be honest, too. So I'll start it out at like a 6 because it was good, but I don't know if it really knocks anything out of the park for me.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah, I think that your comparison to Boyhood, this one felt like way more, maybe more accurate in its dramatization of the subject matter. Like, I feel like, tell me if this makes sense to you guys. This is like a very out of left field way to describe this, but Boyhood feels like it was in black and white, and this movie feels like it was in color. In terms of the way that it's depicting, like...
I couldn't agree more. This
you know what I'm saying?
This movie's like you're looking through a glass window because it's so real. Like, nothing about this movie seems artificial or fake. Like, it seems like these are real people that... Like, if you said this was based on a true story, like almost word for word, I'd believe it. Just because like the characters are so real, and like their struggles and family drama struggles,
the emotions
is so
like
real.
You feel like you feel like you're part of the gang, maybe like part of the family, and you feel like you're inside the house whenever Yeah,
it feels more homey and cozy. Where like I feel like I was just like a camera on a tripod during boyhood.
Yeah, true that.
Totally.
That makes more sense than the black and white analogy.
Okay, yeah.
But thanks for getting there.
We got what you were saying.
Yeah, okay. But so I guess we're all on the right side of 5 on this one, but I want to hear,
Yeah.
I guess maybe we can cut into spoilers and then
Sure.
Zach, you can elaborate on
My obsession.
your obsession. And then Dennis can take out a shovel and beat it down.
Cool. And spoiler mode engaged.
Spoiler.
Yes.
Okay, Tommy dies. I don't really know. Yeah, so I'm having a hard time pointing to what maybe I would have liked more from this movie. I thought maybe if we would have just continued the hype train of, yeah, we're drinking all the time and life is so much better here, I would have maybe liked if this movie was more so a comedy about that and how, holy shit, these guys' lives is always better when they're drunk and there are no downsides. That would have been kind of funny in some degree, but I do appreciate that it was like a drama and a diorama of what happens when you kind of fall out of love with life and then
that's a good way to put it.
you fall to a vice or a crutch to pick you back up. It's cool to see how you come all the way back around and you kind of recharge your eyes and, you know, you fall in love with the present again and stuff like that. Good motif. Maybe just not what I was looking for, I guess, or what I thought it would be.
Okay. Fair.
I didn't even know, like, I wasn't looking for anything, and it just shocked me in the face. I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. That's how I felt. But it's obviously a very subjective thing. You just wanted AI police robot killing the 4 minutes.
No, I was okay.
I
I was okay with no science fiction in this one, though. That would have been fine.
So do you think do you think a lot of your score, Zach, came from like your maybe personal connection or like?
Absolutely, yeah. I completely just related to the characters, but namely Mads Mikkelsen's character. Like I just like felt I was him. I mean, obviously, that ties you into a movie really quickly. I mean, it just like pulled me in. I feel like I like been in his shoes before, and like I've gone down some of the paths. I mean, like we talk about like using drugs or alcohol as a crutch when you're depressed. I mean, it's such an easy thing to do, and then the creative way of this movie of making the point, like. I feel like the main theme and point of this movie is that like, and this is the funny part, because like the first 50% of the movie, it's like, I totally agree. I was like, why is this telling me that alcohol is like the best thing ever? I was like really confused.
Go drink and drive.
Yeah, literally.
But I think like the whole point of the movie is that like alcohol is both, can be a great thing, an average thing, or a terrible thing, depending on like who you are and your mindset when you use it. And I feel like that goes not just alcohol, but anything in life. Like people, like relationships, food, drugs, like literally anything. It's like when you're like partaking or intaking in this thing or whatever, like where's your head at? And like obviously if you're like not doing well and you're depressed and like you start using something as like a crutch, like bad things are probably going to happen. And that's why like the very last scene of this movie was really, really emotional for me, because it was the first, like, so the end of the movie, Mads Mikkelsen, the character, after almost and like basically losing his wife and her moving out, lost his I think that was his best friend, Tommy, one of them, who died after being depressed from becoming an alcoholic after the events of the film. He seemed like he was just in a hole, and then at the end of the movie he kind of just goes for it and starts drinking again. And like it was the first time. Well, anyways, he's a jazz dancer, and so the last scene of the movie, he's dancing. He's like drinking with all the students that he had taught, and it's like a very celebratory moment. But like the key part of that was just that, because like at first when I'm watching this last scene, I'm like, isn't this the whole point of like you stop drinking? Like I didn't expect the movie to go there, and so I had to think about it, and maybe it was more easily known to you guys, but like I had to think about it, and like after the credits roll, I was like, oh, that's what this means. Basically, just showing that he finally became like happy on his own and didn't need a crutch, and like could feel life again. An Oppenheimer reference. He could hear the music. Like he felt alive again. And so then when you put alcohol on top of that, it's only, you know, making him happier in that moment than if he was depressed. If he was depressed and you're drinking alcohol, it's going to make you more depressed.
Right.
If you're happy and you're drinking alcohol, it's going to make you more happy. That's like how I honestly feel about it. And I've never seen a movie really show that before. and I thought it was really creative and cool, and kind of a tough pill to swallow for a lot of other people, I think, or viewers too, people that are affected by like alcoholism and stuff. Because it's like a weird turn. It's like best friend, like the movie takes a really sour turn. Best friend dies from alcoholism. He killed himself. He was depressed. Losing your family. All the emotional parts for me where I was like crying was when it was Mads' character dealing with his wife. A lot of those conversations and dialogue felt so real, like kind of hurt. And then at the end, it just like, I don't know, he was just like finally free of his depression, free of everything. And at that point, alcohol was no longer a negative for his life, but a positive. I don't know. I thought it was a cool. Yeah,
that's
cool
interesting. Because I was going to ask you guys what your interpretation of the ending was, because I feel like, okay, so you obviously have the fun in the games that starts off the whole experiment. Then you have the downturns, people just being way too shit-faced at school, getting caught, called out. What's Mads' character's name again?
Martin.
Yeah, Martin. Martin's wife leaving him.
Martin.
Or them splitting kind of based on his alcoholism at this point, I guess I'll call it. And then at the end, when he's drinking again, I was wondering, I like your interpretation of it, and I think maybe that's probably more spot on, but I was wondering if it was kind of more of like a cyclical nature or like humans' cyclical nature, and like they'll fall into habits and then they'll like get better, or they'll ditch those bad habits and they'll fall into it again. And but I think looking at it from the lens of he solved, it's alcohol is no longer a Band-Aid. He's healed his wound per se. He's realized his mistakes, and then he can indulge responsibly and without dire consequence as he had previously.
I like that. Well, I like your interpretation too. I like that a lot. To put it squarely, what the director said, what I said,
we love what the director says.
Was kind of my interpretation, but you could totally see it through that lens too. So I also like that you keep it open ended and make different viewers subjectively view it differently. Like I got this was like on the official like movie Reddit board, and apparently I didn't find this, but the director liked this post or something. But it was basically like talking. Oh, I'll just read it. So Denmark, where this movie takes place, Denmark has a very big drinking culture. It has the largest percentage of 15-year-olds who drink in the world. They make a big point of that in the movie, which is fucking nuts. Basically, everyone drinks and does it in large doses. So Martin was probably drinking before they did the experiments at some point. The difference was that he began doing it on a daily basis and during working hours, so just showing that it was the first time he actually got caught up in quote-unquote alcoholism in a way. And then the main point being that alcohol in itself is not the problem. It's how they choose to manage the alcohol and the reasons that they have to drink. All the teachers felt that their lives were miserable and used alcohol to suppress the pain. And in the end, speaking of the last scene, he was no longer drinking to suppress the pain. He was purely drinking for celebration and enjoyment. So in the end, that doesn't mean he'll necessarily fall back into the same drinking habits he did before. And yeah, I really resonate with that and like that.
Nice.
I really like that it ended on kind of a happy note. We get a nice sine wave of the roller coaster ride up, where they're drinking all the time, they're more engaged in the classroom, they're banging their wives extra good and everything like that. They're having more fun all around. Then it goes a little bit too far. They start saying, "Oh, let's drink a little bit more." Let's see if the effects keep getting better.
So
and they don't.
Yeah, and that's where if I have any problem with the movie, it's like that point. Like I was so on board and was like, "Dude, this is a potential 10 out of 10." But like something I like smallly didn't like. I know that doesn't make any sense.
A blemish.
A blemish for the movie for me was when kind of that point where everything's going great. Like Martin, for example, like literally falling back in love with his wife. She's falling back in love with him. He's teaching out of his mind. Like the students fucking love him. Everything's perfect. And then like the dumbest thing you could possibly do is like, oh, let's just increase it. Like to me, it's like so dumb. That's so like above them.
That unrealistic because they're just like, well, I don't know who presented the idea to increase.
The other thing was Martin.
I think it was Nikolai.
But Martin was the first one on board because he wanted to. Well, he was the one that first did it because he tested going to the next level. And then he went to the next level, which was like what point?
Oh yeah.
12?
Yeah, it was. He's right about this.
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's just like it's like any addiction, right? It's like, oh, like I get a little bit more, I'll feel a little bit better, and just like, where does it end? And they found where it ended, and it ended with
I guess
Martin's
because
wife walking out on him in the bar when he tried to get back together with her. So no, I think I liked that because I mean, how else would it spiral out of control?
Well, it had to happen. Like in terms of the story, I get it and like I appreciate it, but I guess I can't even say it's something I dislike about the movie structure. If anything, I like it. I guess it made me frustrated as a viewer because I'm having such a good time, like watching them
frolic,
succeed, be happy, and like I was just like loving it. And then it's like, oh, like I don't know, it gives me anxiety thinking about it. It's like, don't do that because I do it all the time. Because like that's my problem that I currently struggle with alcohol is like, I don't have an alcoholism problem where I have to drink all the time or like drink to enjoy. My problem is once I start drinking, I don't know. Like I could be in the perfect buzz ever, and I could have like God or some higher being come down to me and like say, Zach, you're in the best state right now. If you have more, like you won't be. I probably wouldn't listen, and I would just keep going because like that is my problem. And so like that's why it was frustrating for me that point in the movie when they're just like, no, let's just keep taking it higher on a level. I'm like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah, did they say in the movie like the more you drink, the more you want, or they said something along those lines? I think.
And they even make a joke about that specifically. They're like, like non-alcohol or people that think they're not alcoholics will say that only alcoholics are only people that need it every day, not people that can't stop. Yeah, and then I'm like literally in those shoes, but it's just funny. But I don't know. This movie spoke to me so much.
Cell-phoned by the movie.
Yeah.
No, I think I liked it. I liked their depiction also of like how just like they need more credit for how they acted drunk because acting drunk is
that's
like,
not easy.
You'd think it'd be easy, but it would probably look so cringe if you filmed yourself trying to act drunk.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job. Like just some of the scenes where they're like falling all over each other and like when they're running in the street and stuff, I'm like, there's probably a video on my phone of me doing that same shit. Like, I thought that was really spot on, and all the actors deserve a round of applause for their drunken acting there. But
or even more so, like not even like when they're drunk, but I think Tommy, the guy that killed himself, like the way he was like his acting job when he was going downhill, I thought that was like phenomenal. Like I don't just the way they even look, like the sweat. And like you can tell an alcoholic, just like when they walk in a room, like it looks like the life is just sucked out of their like skin. Their face is fat. They're sweaty. Like it's like you said, it couldn't have been more like on point, realistic. It was like kind of scary looking. And then like the whole scene with Tommy and Martin at the end, like their last conversation together, and like. He keeps Tommy like keeps trying to go back to the fridge to get a beer, and he's trying to tell him no. It's like I don't know. That all felt so real. Yeah. Like from an acting standpoint, I totally agree. They did such a good job with that.
Yeah, even small things like when he comes. I think it's like the last scene where Tommy's in the teacher's lounge or whatever, and he comes and like sits down on the couch, and he just like doesn't understand where he is in space, and like kind of sits on the other girl that's like sitting on the couch. Also, it's like little, excuse me, it's like little things, but.
It's a thin line. Like you can't go over the edge because then it's so dramatic and stupid. Like The Hangover, like I don't know any other movie ever, like or about drinking because
you can tell it's people acting as a drunk person,
acting drunk.
But these people like sold it. I was really surprised when I read that they were not drunk when they were filming the drunk scenes.
That's confirmed. No alcohol on premise.
No, they met and like had drinks and like shared a laugh and stuff after they finished filming scenes, as Danish people would, I guess. But no, all these scenes where they were acting drunk, stumbling through the street, causing a riot in the pub almost, getting fresh cod from the supermarket.
Dude, that was scene funny. Was crazy.
I forgot about that.
These were all like sober actors just acting drunk and really well done on that front. You're right.
Whoever jumped into I don't know who it was that. Is it Nikolai's the like chubbier one? Mm-hmm. Nikolai's standing, he's like, I got the fish, like, let's go. And they're all out in the dock, and then one of them just like jumps in the water and decides to swim to him because it's the closest like point A to point B. Like just so much funny shit like that.
Something about these Danish people. They know what it's like to be drunk, I guess.
Know, right? Yeah, who would have thought?
Wait, Mads, by the way, what's his nationality?
I think he is.
Is he Danish?
I think he's Danish, yeah. That sounds about right.
You said Danish people, and I was like, wait a second, is he Danish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He's from Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Sorry.
Wait, so Tommy killed himself? I thought he drowned.
Yeah, but it was kind of... they implied that it was on purpose, or it was a purposeful death, because he's already walking out to the pier shit-faced. he's bringing his dog that's on his deathbed. There's really no reason to like bring your dog out on the boat. Well, I guess if you want to just have a good time, but it's a dying dog that he has to help use the bathroom. I don't really see why else he would bring it out to the dock and then take it out on the water if it was not to like say goodbye.
Yeah, but I guess he was like trying to put on the life jacket and he's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, because it's, you know.
But why would you put on a life jacket if you're going to go kill yourself on the boat?
He didn't wear the life jacket because he remembered what he was out there for, is what I gathered.
Okay. Either way.
You know, he's like, why am I bothering with this?
Yeah, fair.
I also agree. When I first watched, or like after that scene, and I didn't really necessarily think he killed himself. But then I don't know, just the way like kind of the dialogue and mood went the rest of the movie, I was like, oh, he did. And then I read afterwards that he definitely killed himself.
Well, they went to his funeral.
Yeah.
They don't hold funerals for people who kill themselves?
Wait, no. Sorry. I thought you said like, I thought you were saying that you didn't understand that he had killed himself until after the movie was over.
He's saying he knew he was dead.
Okay, good.
No, I just didn't know. As to Matt's question, I didn't know like how he died necessarily.
Oh.
Until like I had to like think about it, and then
Gotcha.
Like I said, the way the movie went afterwards, after that scene, the boat scene, like the tone and the way the other three characters were talking to each other, I'm like, oh, he definitely killed himself.
I mean, that was definitely not a dog casket.
No, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We're all on board.
So a little fun fact here. The film was based on a play that Thomas Vinterberg, the director, had written, and additional inspiration came from his daughter, Ida, who told stories of the drinking culture in the Danish youth. And the story was originally written as a celebration of alcohol based on the thesis that world history would have been different without alcohol. But 4 days into filming, Ida, Vinterberg's daughter, was killed in a car accident. And following that tragedy, the script was reworked to become more life-affirming. It should not just be about drinking. It should be about being awakened to life.
I love that. That's awesome.
So this movie was about to be like maybe something Dennis would have.
Yeah, exactly.
A little drunk history moment.
Yeah. But I mean, I love that. I love that that's like the reason behind the script change, and that the script change was so effective. And I'm sure that's in part due to like the passion that Vinterberg, the renewed passion he probably had in the project when reworking the script based on what happened to his daughter. It's incredibly sad, but
I have another cool nugget. I'm sure you guys already know this.
Nuggets.
They're in the process of remaking this movie in American style with Leonardo DiCaprio starring, and it's a joke.
God,
4 years after it's released, like it's so stupid.
I hate that Leo's in the fucking main role. I hate that so much.
Like, why do we need to remake this?
Okay, first of all,
because no one's seen it.
We know Leo's good.
Well, I love Leo, but like this movie was like, well, if I give this movie a 7 or a 6, then maybe I'm like, oh, it could be better. But to me, like this is a masterpiece. The thought of them remaking it, even if it's my favorite actor or one of my favorite actors, I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, but American media companies need to suck every cent out of us if they can, so they have to take things that were successful overseas and make them successful here. Successful, quote unquote.
There's going to be an American Parasite.
I mean, wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, like kind of like how they're remaking Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Don Glover and someone else.
No, that's stupidity. It's fine.
Well, there's like, have you ever heard of the Train to Busan? It's like a really famous, I think it's like an apocalyptic, maybe a zombie movie that's, I don't know if it's Korean. It's an Asian film, and they're remaking it in America called like Train to New York. It's just like stupid shit like that. Like just train Americans to fucking digest shit from other cultures and not be turned off when they turn on the TV and it's a Danish film, like me.
I was gonna say it sounds like a self-report. Well, maybe there's potential. Is that all we know, that it has Leo in it?
I didn't do any digging because it made me sick to my stomach, but you should do some digging. Because I don't know even who the studio's behind it or who's on board to write or direct. I just saw that Leonardo would star.
Sometimes when they like take a movie like that and spin it into another culture or language for that matter, they sometimes sometimes go different directions that can actually do a good job. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but I feel like we've done something somewhat recently that it actually worked for.
A remake?
Yeah, they like remake it, but they take it like a reboot.
Casino Royale?
No. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the notion. It's a told story that,
because it's a different time and age, different culture, so it's a different story you can tell.
Perhaps.
Well, which is, if you could come up with a good enough script where it's like American drinking culture is so much different than Danish drinking culture.
I mean, there are plenty of different American culture drinking habits than Danish, or you know what I'm saying? Like the drinking culture is different enough in both places, probably, that you could probably pull something creative out of there. I have faith if it gets picked up.
Well, I'm about to smash that because the director is Chris Rock.
That's not a good look.
Okay,
yeah, that's a poor indicator.
Is that official?
It is.
Remake has raised concerns to the choice of director Chris Rock.
Wow, yeah, that sums my thoughts up quite well, actually.
And the team behind the
Must understand deeper themes. Yeah. Connect it with an American audience.
God, I hate American audience.
Honestly, I'm going to say that America's too immature to enjoy a movie like this on a wide scale. Thoughts?
It's probably everybody. It's not just Americans. Like, this wasn't a blockbuster overseas.
That's not what he doesn't mean, like blockbuster. He just means.
Well, kind of.
Oh.
Potentially. I guess. Well, why are you remaking something with Leonardo DiCaprio that you don't expect to be multi-million-dollar?
Define blockbuster.
They might be able to make it appeal to, a blockbuster audience, or the audience of many, many more.
Oppenheimer's a biopic and it made over 1 million.
It's because Christopher Nolan was the director. And that's literally the only reason why. That's the reason why I got butts into seats.
This is true.
Okay, you're right.
Let's talk about Leonardo DiCaprio, just because we're on the topic. He should not be in this film, and he's starting to become a Chris Evans to me.
No.
In the fact that all I see him is Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, he's in too much shit.
He's in a lot.
He's suffering from a volume issue.
But I think he's so incredible that he's different in everything.
Dude, I have no problem seeing him as different characters.
Don't ever compare him to Chris Evans, though. That's blasphemy. Chris Evans, because I agree with your Chris Evans.
But I'm just saying, like, it's hard to.
Okay,
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, first of all, Chris Evans is not nearly enough stuff to only see him as Chris Evans. I can understand the Matt Damon in a suit thing, or Matt Damon in a costume thing that you guys talk about, but he's also good. I can see him as other characters, too.
I don't agree with the Matt Damon one, but I agree with the Chris Evans one. Chris Evans will forever always be that cocky kid from Fantastic Four, Captain America, big buff guy, and then stupid Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, what the heck? So he's like, you're saying the opposite of what Matt's saying.
Those are like,
You're saying Matt is like, he's always going to be the Captain America, right? That's your problem with him, right?
With Chris Evans. I'm just saying, well, I guess, whatever. Maybe me saying Leo and comparing to Chris Evans was not the best, because I unleashed a can of worms here. I guess I'm just saying, like, I see Leo in so much shit that I just, like, almost view him as Leo now instead of the character that he's playing.
Oh, wow.
But
whatever. I feel like that's almost like a detriment to his acting chops, because if he's not convincing you he's a character, then he's failing. He should be fired.
Yeah.
He should be canned.
But it's just like, how do you convince me that this person? It's like a mental.
Yeah, I think you gotta look at it differently.
Yeah,
it's like
how do you convince me that this person is all these different people?
Like if Steve Carell started like some crazy like movie that won like tons of awards. It already exists. It's called Evan Almighty. Just kidding.
It's a great film.
But like you can never see him other than The Office. He'll always be that character. What? That's like
because he has a beard.
Globally recognized.
Do something different visually. Maybe that's it. All right, moving on. Yeah, well, I'm not going to see this remake.
I'm going to see it.
I'm boycotting.
I'm going to see it.
It's going to have a shit score.
Probably.
I'm making my own Rotten Tomatoes, or signing up and applying on Rotten Tomatoes, just so I can give this a 0.
You were actually considering another round to be a 10 at some points during the film?
Absolutely.
That is insane. Not insane bad, but just like, hell yeah, that's sick.
I mean, score could be creeping up that way. Who knows? I'm just kidding. Maybe.
This movie was like, maybe I'm talking myself up here, in part thanks to Zach and your points combined, joint effort, elevating me. So it really did a good job of like convincing me that these 4 guys were really close friends, and that the time that they had together like was enjoyed as friends. Like very convincing. There are scenes in the restaurant where they're celebrating a birthday and telling stories about how they met each other and like trying to cheer up their friend who's clearly, having a moment of, he's kind of mentally collapsing at the table, about to have a breakdown or something. They're just very, very convincingly charming and friendly to him.
Oh, I mean, this is very well acted. They sell me completely that they're just like,
it's a script too.
They're bros broing.
Yeah.
Adult version.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that they also, maybe it's gone.
Well, maybe this will ring a bell, but like kind of going off of that, like the thing, like my favorite part about it that really like dug me in deep and like got me like enthralled with the film from the get-go was like the realistic and non-dramatic take that you see in a lot of movies, where it's like a midlife crisis movie. So like the 40-Year-Old Virgin's a good one. That's a little bit more on the humor side, but it does try and like give some like emotional stuff in it to get you connected to the characters. I guess it's character in that case with Steve Carell. There's a lot of movies where it's like they try to show the midlife crisis and it's just like overly dramatic, and it's like you don't feel connected. Like, but when they go into, especially Mads Mikkelsen's character, but also the other three, it's like I can just totally like. There's so many men out there living like that, and it's like that's like honestly probably my biggest fear in life is to end up at 45 sitting at the table on Nikolai's birthday, and like that like your friends like telling you to your face like, dude, like where's the life, like what happened to you, and like your wife being like, what happened, like he's in the bed and like he's like, am I boring to his wife, and she's like, yeah, you're not the same man I met. Like I don't know, like those are like huge fears, and it's like that can, I don't know, that shit can happen so like fast without you even knowing. And like all these years go by, like time flies by. Like, so that hit me the hardest, like at the beginning of the movie, to get me like really deeply attached to the characters in an emotional way. And then seeing them like connect and like the life, them come back to life, so to speak, was just like, I don't know, it's like an emotional high.
Yeah. I mean, this movie does a really good job of portraying humanity in these guys.
Good way to put it.
Which, like, it's so stupid because acting is like pretending to be human, but we're all human already. So you'd think it'd be like more easy to portray on screen, like realistic emotion and humanity within individuals. But you don't get that as often as you'd think in Hollywood. And so I think this was a stellar example of that done right. And then also my score's creeping up here too, because I'm just thinking about the, like, so Rotten Tomatoes defines this as a tragic comedy, which is like a tragic, like whatever, mix the words together.
I agree with that.
A Shakespeare play.
I'm traumatized by Shakespeare in high school. But it's hard to think of movies that handle the, what'd you say? What's this, sine wave, cosine wave? What is this, math boy?
Sine wave. It's
sine
just
wave. Yeah,
literally
okay,
any
the
wave.
ups and downs. Thinking about how it handled the transition from the comedy and the lightheartedness to the serious portions and the kind of deeper themes here was pretty masterful, because I feel like that's a really hard transition to make effectively. And it was strong in both of those categories too. It was funny when it was supposed to be funny, and it was serious when it was supposed to be serious, and heartfelt when it was supposed to be heartfelt. And it didn't feel like we just jumped from one to the other.
Exactly.
It felt like a natural progression.
It was cohesive.
Yeah.
And it's more so the tone.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was just stellar in that regard as well.
Totally agree.
Good tone.
Good tone.
What do you got going on in that brain over there of yours?
I'm just absorbing.
Sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Brain's especially plastic this evening. Ready to be molded into a higher score, perhaps?
Yeah,
perhaps.
It might could.
Sauce.
Yeah. Let me know if I do a little too much glazing over Mads Mikkelsen, but his hair was really good in this movie. He just looks really cool. Are his eyes gray?
Hold.
They're blue.
Blue?
The chiffre. Actually, no, they're
They
brown.
are kind of gray.
What are they? You can't tell in that picture because that's a...
He just has a very strong, angular-looking face, you know?
I bet you
my
he's
gosh.
like standards of beauty, like the
Probably.
symmetry, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Diagram things.
Yeah, I also think he probably has the best stubble in the game. In this movie, it was extremely prominent. He was at no point completely shaven, and I think that's really cool, especially on a like a teacher.
Look at that stubble.
Yeah. Good Lord.
He does look better with the fucked up eye, the bleeding eye from Casino Royale.
He also looks 20 years younger there.
Oh, he's way younger.
So much. Yeah, it's actually astounding. I didn't realize actors do age sometimes.
I guess they do.
Overseas they do, I guess.
It's the alcohol.
A really cute part of this movie that no one's mentioned yet, but Mads Mikkelsen actually got his start in Hollywood and like performing as a stage actor and a dancer. So like all the dancing was him by himself.
That's cool.
Filmed over like 2 days and many, many hours. But yeah, all that dancing was his own. And that ending scene is really written in there just because the director wanted to see if he still had it.
lit.
He had said in an interview with GQ that he had not danced in over like 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Or danced professionally in 30 years at the time of filming. So very, very, very impressive. And I like him for that.
Oh, this one also won Best Director. That's pretty
that's
strong
huge.
for an international film at
Huge.
the Oscars.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, sorry. It did not. Nominated.
Oh,
Didn't think so.
This chart is
you
misleading.
fucked us.
Misleading chart. Do we agree? Okay. Any additional sayings you have before we wrap it?
So in this movie, they're using Danish measurements. So their BAC that they blow on the breathalyzer is like 0.5% symbol. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are getting sloshed and they're driving. They're like over 5 times over the American limit. But no, it's because their percentages are per milli or mil, which is like 0.1%. So,
dude, just makes sense. We just have to complicate
so the
things.
conversion is like, they were only blowing 0.05 in America over there.
0.05 in American drunkenness.
Yeah.
Okay. Since you brought up this is so random, but I learned that what the percentage sign looks like in Denmark, at least, perhaps other European countries as well, makes so much more sense because it's out of 100. It's like 0/00, as opposed to in America, it's 0/0. Like thinking about it, like out of 100. Like that's what percentage is. So it should be 0/00. It's like what out of 100? It's just like
why do we do this?
Smart things, you know.
That's why we need to move to London at Dennis's behest.
Denmark.
I don't know what behest means.
Europe in general.
Down.
Pass.
We're gonna we gotta film a podcast from Denmark on a boat, a houseboat. Actually, that's
sloshed.
True. Okay.
Well, actually, no. I want to stay at a 0.05.
Wait, why is no one drinking on this episode?
True. That's we didn't plan for this.
It's a Tuesday afternoon, bro.
That never stopped
That's
us
never
in the
stopped
early
me.
days.
2 of us came from the office.
True.
Facts, but I expect at least one of us has a handle in their backseat.
Okay, but we have to answer the ultimate question of the movie before we end. I do agree that 0.05 is sublime. I want to be at a 0.05 always.
I have no basis or baseline whatsoever
Just
for
like,
how much is
just
what.
like a slight buzz.
Yeah, like I do. Like you take a couple shots when you go on a date. Like there's that initial thing that gives you enough to be a little bit more social than you normally are.
Take the edge off.
Yeah, I want to be there forever.
Oh yeah,
So
I would say my
agree.
optimum buzz is the optimum amount.
Dude, such a good way to say that. So much sense.
Yeah, I usually feel better when I feel really good.
All right, let's wrap it, shall we? I'll let Mr. Zach take the honors of this golden film and lay it out for us, his final score.
Yeah, this movie is amazing to me. As I said, I'm trying to decide right now on the spot if I want to raise this score.
Do not reference your scores. I know that's what you're doing. Ever since we banned on-premise score viewing
He's been doing it exclusively
on his phone.
I don't let anybody know. I think I'm going to keep it at a 9. I feel like anything above that would have to be like this movie is a masterpiece within itself, but at the same time, I don't want to get too into like the scoring system, but like I don't know, it's got to be like more my cup of tea if that makes sense. Like fucking the best horror movie ever, or like a crazy interstellar like space opera. Like I don't know, but yeah, this movie was completely blew my expectations. First movie in a long ass time. Probably the first movie ever for the pod that I didn't watch a trailer for. Which
this is called growth.
That went into Dennis's dub category there.
I'm noticing a trend.
So yeah, this completely blew my expectations away. It was just such an emotional ride. Like I don't know. I feel like if you have any connection with like alcoholism or I don't know. I don't really know how to put that, but I don't know. If you understand anything about having a beer, then you'll like this movie.
If you've ever had a hangover.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's actually something that they did not touch on like nearly enough. Is
hangovers?
The effects of it? Yeah. Did they not get hungover a single time except for maybe
they're always drunk?
V1?
You don't get hangover when you're always drunk. That's like the whole thing.
Dude,
right?
I feel like that can't be true. I've never had that be the case for me.
Well,
you've never been drinking consistently forever.
Yeah. That's an alcoholic thing.
Oh.
They don't really get hungover. Like, they just fiend for the alcohol.
If you were doing that, then these mics would be off and we'd be having a different conversation at this table right now.
As soon as you start feeling like you're getting hungover and your BAC is lowering, then you drink more alcohol to stay at that level, and therefore you don't really ever get hungover.
Hair of the dog. Ever heard?
Yeah, I have, but that's usually a term people tell me when I'm like, oh, I'm hungover.
Yeah, because drinking more will make it so you're not hungover.
Yeah,
quote unquote.
that's how you rally. Anyways, acting in this movie is amazing. It's easily my favorite Mads Mikkelsen performance. Not that I've seen him in a ton. The cast all around I thought was great. Script was great. It's funny at times. I literally don't have anything bad to say about it. Great film. Thank you, Dennis, very much for picking it, and I highly recommend it to everybody.
Oh, very nice.
I think everybody should see this movie, actually. I'll phrase it that way.
Oh, that's even stronger. Okay. I am going to come up to an 8.1. I think that, this might not be one that stays with me for a super long time, but it was so well done, and there's not much I can say bad about it. I always say, did it do what it set out to do? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes in this case. As Zach said, very well acted across the board. Mads Mikkelsen was the front, lead and stellar in his role. I love the cinematography and the choices that they made with filming and the shots to make it feel very intimate and human. I think the humanity of this movie is one of its biggest strengths. Very well done by the director as well in being able to kind of capture his vision here. And really cool to hear how the script morphed over time and became what it became. I think the movie's better for it. I think this hits you right in the human bones, if you will. And I definitely recommend it to everyone. 8.1.
Everyone but Marvel fans.
Marvel fans don't deserve to see this movie.
Marvel fans don't listen to our podcast.
Nice. Good. I'm actually I'm more happy with your guys' positive experience with this movie than I am about maybe my not so positive experience with the movie. And that's not saying it's not a positive experience, just not as much of a positive experience as you two.
Sure.
Anywho, solid ass movie. I'll agree with you guys. You guys did remind me a little bit more about the good aspects of it, so thank you for that. It's not a blockbuster. It's not a gut busting comedy. But it's a really, really good movie if you want to feel some feels and you're okay with reading some subtitles. Sometimes I feel like that can take away. I don't think it really did so much here. So excellent job to everybody involved with this one. Staying power, perhaps not like Matt said, but that's not always a requirement. For what it is, it's been banished to the 7.5 realm.
That's not a bad realm to be banished.
That's a good realm.
Okay.
Elevated to the trophy case that is 7.5s.
Oh, I like that reframe.
This does have staying power for me. It might for you, audience listener.
So this, sorry, did you recommend this?
I didn't yet, and I'm probably not going to recommend it to people, but that doesn't mean you should stay away from it. I just don't think it's going to be on my list of, if you want to watch a movie that'll make you feel something, go for this one.
Okay, fair. How does it stack up to your expectations, since this was one that presumably was on your list for a little bit of time as the picker?
I don't know if it stood all the way up to the expectations. It did kind of disarm me and catch me off guard in a way, which is appreciated.
In what way? Just with the...
Yeah, the direction it took, I guess the turn of everything. Okay. So that caught me off guard in a good way, though. I liked what it did.
Okay, cool. Well, glad we had a good one here, even though Dennis talks about it in a way that's not trophy case material, but still solid all the way around. Next pick is mine, and you guys are gonna fucking hate me.
Another award nominated?
Yeah.
Another foreign film?
We have to do it, and it is foreign. And
we have to do it.
I'm saying, wait, what?
You said we have to do it.
Yeah, we have to do a Oscar-nominated film.
True, we didn't just do Poor Things.
That's the realm.
Yeah, we didn't just do them every single
one person out of 3 people has to have respect for award season, and that's me.
This one just won an award 2 years ago.
What do you mean? Yeah.
And that's what. And we watched it.
This counts.
And are you mad that you watched it? Maybe you are a little. But
That's 3 or 4.
I'm at, yeah, we've officially become an award show only podcast.
It's award season.
I thought you were going to give it a break. Oh, it is award season.
It's award season.
So just promise it's your last one for a while.
Well, I can't promise that.
Should.
Probably. Well, I'll wrap it up once we get to the Oscars. The Oscars is the deadline here, which is early March. So I don't know if I'll have another pick before then.
You won't.
Wait, what the fuck? Festivals just happened. We had the Emmys. Didn't we just fucking have the Oscars, I thought?
The Grammys happened 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know.
That's music.
Yeah.
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes. Oh my gosh, is that also movies?
Movies and TV.
Okay, why is there a separate movies and television one and then just a movies one?
There's like a bajillion different awards.
And a combined movies and television
one.
one?
But the Oscars are like the flagship.
Yeah, that's the one that...
So that's the one
if anyone's are going to matter, that's the ones that should matter, not the television and movies one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's why he's actually picking one, I guess.
That's why all these are freaking Oscar nominated.
Well, this is your last one.
Anyways, we're watching Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest.
What?
Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't either.
Dude, you guys have to know what this is. IGN called this the most important piece of cinema of the century.
IGN's a gaming magazine.
Not only, but I'm not saying that alone is worth something or worth everything, but it's worth something. That's a tall accolade. Anyways, fuck you. Another round he had never heard of. It was Danish. So go fuck yourself. That one won an award, and that's why it ended up on your list. And this one is nominated for an award, and will probably win an award or two. So, do you even know what it's about? Why do you hate it?
Because I've never heard of it. Yeah. I've never heard anybody speak a word
It
about
has to be better than Anatomy of a Fall.
I think I'm of the impression that it will be.
Oh, well, I'm excited.
Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall. I'm not complaining about these, but we used to be a country.
No.
We used to be a podcast where we pick from the heart, not the media.
Dark.
This is pick from the heart. This has been on my list. You know what? There's a reason we have a fucking circular pick here, and you better stop roasting mine. The Commandment of Auschwitz. Rudolf Hoss and his wife Hedwig, played by Sandra Hüller, strive to build a dream life for their family in a house and garden next to the camp.
Oh, the Commandant.
Commandant. Commandant.
Correct.
I don't know. Whatever. It's a French word, I suppose. So, it's A24 also. So, I know you guys don't give a shit about that particularly, but...
You should have started with that.
Who's starring?
Sandra Hüller.
Sandra Hüller's...
We hardly know her, but...
We're familiar with her now.
Familiar.
You don't know this guy, neither do I.
True.
Christian Friedel.
True. Okay. Zone of Interest.
Medusa Knopf. Daniel Hosberg.
So it's like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, except more serious.
This guy directed Under the Skin.
How much more serious than Boy in the Striped Pajamas do you get?
I don't know. As soon as those words came out of my mouth, I was like, I regret that.
No, I mean, this is like the same realm.
Yeah.
Have you seen Under the Skin?
No.
Zach, you would love that movie. That's A24, like up there with Ex Machina and where it should be discussed in sci-fi.
Oh, you could have picked that.
Anyways, this guy directed Under the Skin, which I did not know until right now. So we should be in for a treat here.
All right.
Whatever.
I'm excited.
I hope that we come back here and I can stitch this together about you moaning and groaning, and then I hope you love this movie.
No, I actually do too. Most of this reaction was for the bit.
95%. Do what you want with the other 5.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Letterboxd.
Bye, everybody. Don't drink and drive. Stay safe.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.